So typically now, let's just say you started guiding. What you're going to do, you're going to mostly do the overhand, right? So I'm just going to show you this process. I usually do it with my carabiner on it. It's a little more simple for me. So I can always equalize as well and pull it the direction I want after. So I'm going to take a bite in my hand here, twist it around the bite, and now typically in overhand, you just go through here. You go back through this circle, this extra area you have right here, going through. And now the benefit of the carabiner is I can just pull it to the direction I want. Right, so now we have our overhand right there. Now this is the terrible part of an overhand. Basically, this knot, when it becomes under load, it almost never comes out. It's very, very hard to get out. And we're going to do the figure eight. So I'm going to take it again, put the carabiner through, take a bigger bite. Now I'm going to go around like I did before. So I went around. Now typically what I would do, I would go under. I would go through the bottom if I wanted to do an overhand, but instead I'm going to wrap it around and go through the top. Now what that gives me a figure eight. So I'll show you, you can kind of see the 8 forming right there. Now I'm going to pull that tight, make it directional. Now that is my 8 right there. A second option, or third option actually, I take this off. This is something I do, and I don't recommend you do this unless you're comfortable with clove hitches. But I actually make a clove hitch. I'm going to do it a little fast, but you'll see how I do it later. Put it together and put this through here. Now, the benefit of doing this is that the clove hitch is adjustable. So let's say I want to adjust it for the direction of pull more to this direction here. I'm just going to take one strand, pull out some slack, and adjust it on this side. Right, now that's okay. Now let's say I want to adjust it to the other side. I'm going to take out some slack on this side, pull it to that side, and now I adjusted it to that side. Also, taking it off is very simple as well. It doesn't get as welded as the overhand knot, and also it's easier than the figure eight on the focal here. So I'm just going to slide it through. Right, very simple. So that's one of the easiest ways. Now the last way, which many people do, is called the magic X. Now you just kind of twist it once, and now the benefit of the magic X is it moves around. So it could be directional, being if your climber is over this direction or change it to that direction, whatever the case is. Now many people do stopper knots, which I highly recommend you do. You do a stopper knot here, a stopper knot here. So an overhand, overhand. Now why is that? Let's say hypothetically, one of these strands, something were to happen here, and then this huge shock load would travel all the way up, and it would shock load this Dyneema. And when Dyneema is knotted, it loses a substantial amount of strength. So I would definitely not want to shock load this Dyneema, this entire length here. And also once these overhands are in, they're very hard to get out. So I used to use this, and I went from this to the clove hitch. But one thing I recommend for you is doing the figure eight. So we're going to move on now to knots.